Today I'm asking the question, is it possible that governance tokens will be valuable one day? When we think 5, 10 years down the road and we see the world is fully on chain, we're no longer looking at a $3 trillion market cap for crypto. We're looking at $30, $40 trillion market cap. Will governance tokens become valuable at this point? Well, we already have a couple of examples of governance tokens doing very well, over $1,000 each already. And when we think about what a governance token really is, let's start with a utility token. A utility token is the asset that is going to move the value or the messaging across chains, right? Well, the governance token is going to be the asset that controls what that company that oversees the messaging system or value being switched on chain. That's what that is doing. So let's put it in today's perspective. Today, with whatever business you're running or institution you're running, you have a board of directors, and the board of directors got there by having the majority share holdings of that company. So give you an example, if you have a company that has 100 shares and I as an individual owned 55% of those shares, I now have the majority share holdings, and I can say my vote has more impact versus somebody that has 5 or 10 shares. See what I'm saying here? And that's what we're seeing with governance tokens. And I also want to point out, it's important to think about this. We have to get the mindset that crypto is meant to break us free from the financial system. That's just simply not true. If you're looking at what's going on right now, the legacy system is dictating how this will go forward. Yes, things will be different. Yes, there will be more opportunities. But at the end of the day, we don't have that financial freedom from the old legacy system or from governments. They're still going to control that. So with that being understood, we now need to think about governance tokens as an institutional mindset, not as a retail mindset. Right now, as a retail mindset, you might hold 5,000 tokens of whatever project of a governance token, and your vote means nothing compared to that whale that has 50 million, 100 million, a billion tokens. And that's the mindset I'm thinking of. Yes, it's not fair that these whales have this many tokens, but that's the world we live in. That's what's important to understand about this. We have to get our mindset on what's going to be reality. And reality is these institutions are going to want to own the majority of these governance tokens. Because when you have, billion or trillion dollars on chain with this network, you're going to want to make sure you have control over your billions or trillions of dollars, depending on what entity you are. So you're going to buy those governance tokens just as companies today would do as a majority shareholder. You're going to have a majority shareholder of governance tokens the same way. I hope you guys are following me here. I'm trying to explain that as best as I can. But let me go ahead and give you guys a couple of examples of some governance tokens that have seen success already so far. And yes, tokenomics, there's going to be a difference between supply and demand, meaning that less tokens, more expensive it will be. And that's the current tokenomics right now. But I'm thinking of the future, like I said, 5, 10 years down the road, when some of these governance tokens aren't going to be classified as a security, or they're going to be moved towards a commodity, and things being priced in commodity are way different. It's a supply and demand situation. So if we only have 10 billion tokens out there in existence for a project that is overseeing trillions of dollars, you're going to see, in my opinion, you're going to see these major institutions like your BlackRock step in and buy a majority of these tokens. Now that's removed from the system, so supply and demand, that's how you get that higher priced governance token based on their project's value, right? What they're doing, what they're solving. But let me show you a couple of things that have already happened in the market, or happening today even, that we're seeing over $1,000 governance tokens. So check it out with me. This comes from CoinMarketCap. We have Maker. Maker is at $1,845. They have a total supply of 870,000 Maker. Yes, they did get rebranded to Sky. Now with the rebranding to Sky, it's only at 8 cents. But they do have now 23.46 billion Sky tokens. But we look over here at Yearn Finance. Yearn total supply is only 36,000 YFI, but look, $2,778. Aave, $91.79. Total supply total supply is 16 million Aave. Compound, 2315. Total supply, 10 million Compound. Uniswap, 324. Total supply, 896 million Uniswap. So what I'm showing you here are governance tokens that have already seen success. So when I think of a project like Ondo or Wormhole, and I hear that they're just not going to be worth anything because it's a governance token, I like to beg to differ to that. I've already seen examples of governance tokens do well. And yes, I understand there's a difference between the max supply out in the market. But again, think about it being priced as a commodity. Let's think about major institutions coming in and buying up the majority of those governance tokens because they want the majority say so of what that company does. Also keep in mind, whatever company out there has a governance token, their whole project can change based off of governance voting, right? And this is again where institutions are going to want that ability to sway that decision one way or another so they're not at risk. For me, I look at a governance token as a risk mitigation asset for an institution. Think how big that really is. Let me give you an example of something like Ondo. If you've been following the channel, I've been talking about Ondo for a while. I tried to make Ondo videos. They just don't go anywhere because they're governance tokens and people just aren't looking at governance tokens. And personally, I can't understand why, but check it out. This is Ondo on CoinMarketCap. We have 25 cents, total supply of 10 billion Ondo. What I want to show you is RWA.xyz, and we're going to look at Ondo right now. We have $3.35 billion of distributed asset value. Then we look over here of your monthly transfer volume, $2.08 billion right now, monthly transfer volume. But when we come down over here, I want you to see the kind of entities working with Ondo right now. So right now we have Ondo US dollar yield, US Treasuries, Ondo short-term US government bond fund, US Treasuries, Circle Internet Group, stocks, iShares Bitcoin Trust, SPDR SP500 ETF, stocks, Invesco, iShares Silver, Alphabet Class, NVIDIA, iShares, Micron Technology, Tesla, MicroStrategy. We keep on going, Microsoft. What I'm showing you here, guys, is all the major institutions of our legacy system has already switched over to using Ondo. Again, this is another big project with a governance token that only has 10 billion in supply. And we look at these institutions, is it possible that one day they will start buying up these governance tokens so they can control that network is my question. And we keep on going to CoinMarketCap. We have a couple other examples of this. Check it out with me here. We have Wormhole. If you've been watching the channel, we've been talking about Wormhole. Right now, it's only at, a cent right now. And there's only 10 billion Wormhole in supply. Then we have Arbitrum is sitting at 12 cents with 10 billion Arbitrum in supply. Looking at API 3 sitting at 32 cents with only 166 million API 3 in existence. So again, guys, the question is it possible with adoption and institutions come in to buy these governance tokens, can we see this price change to have some substantial value one day? That's the question I'm asking you guys. You let me know down in the comments. I'm curious to see what you think about this. That's all I have for you in this video. Before I let you go though, please hit that like button if you liked anything in this. Consider subscribing to the channel if you like this kind of reporting where there's no hype or hopium. Before I let you go, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and become that change you want to see in the world. Thank you guys for hanging out, and I will see you on the next one.